The set menu is things that you can set up for the machine to make it be the right settings for the type of sewing you're doing. You're going to get there by touching the picture of the tools. Looks like a little pair of pliers and a screwdriver. When you touch that, you get to the set menu. This is also where you change tension for your if you need to adjust for different threads. Thread tension, if you're going to change it, you'll notice where the number is. As soon as you change it higher or lower, it highlights so you can see if you've actually changed it or not. Notice the increments are very, very small, 0.2 of amount of change. That's not going to change very much if you just go, oh, I need it higher, and then you push this one time. You're going to need to, if I change it, I always go up a whole number. So if I was at 4.6, now I'm at 5.6, that went a whole number's worth. See if you're actually getting the change you're looking for, vice versa. And again, you can just come on back down. There's the normal setting because it's not highlighted. Again, come on down 3.6 or just 3. I mean, one of those will be just fine. Give it a change so you can see it actually happen. Okay, we'll leave that back at normal. 4.6, good. Next one down. So I'm arrowing down to highlight. P, foot pressure, foot pressure. So how much pressure that is, probably just leave that where it's set. But if you ever need to make the foot not be as tight against the fabric because it's maybe coming out wavy, you can adjust that right there. Things that are done here are going to be remembered when you turn the machine off. So once you've done that, make sure that if you want it back, you need to go back and change it. Sensor foot auto, that's going to sense the fabric. I would leave that on, but if you touch OK, that unchecks the box on any of these. Fix auto, that's the locking stitch that automatically is set for a variety of different techniques that are sewed. When it starts at the beginning, it starts with those locking stitches. If you don't want those locking stitches, you can turn that off and you can just uncheck it, and now it won't do those. Of course, it won't do it for all the stitches throughout the machine, so I like to leave that on. It's something I've really gotten used to, and I like it. Cut auto, it's going to selectively cut at the right place. It's kind of programmed like for embroidery, it's going to cut. For at the end of a buttonhole, it's going to cut also really nice. Again, if you don't want it to cut, and there are times where I don't want it to cut during embroidery, I can come into the set menu and uncheck that box. And again, recheck it once you want it back to cutting. Next one, twin needle. It just has a 3.0 millimeter. But if we wanted to put a twin needle on or a double needle, and we'll do a video on this, so you can take a look at your package. For example, this says 2.5. First, I'm going to turn it on. So touch OK. That puts the check mark in the box. Then if you use the arrows right or left, that will let you pick what size of twin needle you're putting on this machine. You can put up to a 6.0. That's awesome. We can do this for straight stitches, decorative stitches. But what's nice is it limits the stitch width and make sure that you don't break the needle because the stitch was too big. Let's just go out of the set menu real quick. Notice it'll show me right here the 2.5 millimeter twin needle is on. If I do a zigzag and I try to make it bigger, eventually it's going to stop me and say that it's going to be that it's limited for a twin needle. Also too, let's say we left it on or left that setting on when we turned the machine off. We took the double needle off, and then 3 weeks later we come back to sew. This little message will pop up. Machine set for twin needle. Oh yeah, that's right. So you can touch OK, come back into the set menu, touch the tools here, arrow down to the twin needle, touch OK to uncheck that box. All right, so it doesn't matter what number is sitting there, as long as the box is not checked, it's no longer on. Notice that has been returned to just a single needle. Next is stitch width safety. If you have, and I love this, purchased this straight stitch throat plate. So instead of the needle having the ability to go zig and zag or decorative stitches, it can only do a center needle position. Love this for getting a more accurate 1/4 inch stitch. When I'm doing stitching on fine fabrics, I can also leave this on for when I embroider. That needle is stabilized because it doesn't have any place to kind of go back and forth or swing or adjust in that bigger opening. If you've ever tried to stitch from corner to corner for a piece with quilting and that corner goes into your throat plate, I guarantee you it won't be here because the hole is too small. The needle will pierce the fabric, not just push it down into the opening. So by touching OK, and let's go out, let's check this out. Let's try moving the needle position. It's not going to let you do that at all. So that is really nice. And again, it's remembered when you turn the machine off. So I'm going to OK that, meaning uncheck the box, stitch with safety. By the way, there's more here. I'm going to arrow down 2 times because the free motion floating. So when you're going to do free motion quilting, you can do it with the R foot, and you will need to check the first box. This is for the R foot. And then when the machine starts, you know how the foot automatically goes down on your fabric? This will not come down to your fabric. It'll come down and hover. Otherwise, you can't move your fabric underneath. So you have to tell the machine when you need it to float and not squish. All right, free motion floating. I'm going to uncheck that. Notice what else is here. Free motion spring action. This is a purchase, but my recommendation for free motion quilting, instead of it just kind of hovering over your fabric, this actually hops. Do get a better stitch. We will do a video on the free motion quilting part of this, and I will use both these feet. I'll have to come in here. Free motion spring action. Okay that if you're going to use this foot. Okay? All right, turn that off. Once again, if you leave that on, turn the machine off, turn it back on. It will remind you that you're set up for free motion quilting. Arrow down one more time. Buttonhole balance, not something you need a lot, but if every time your buttonhole is not actually balanced right, you can work with here and change that to kind of offset it and make it look better. Audible alarm, it's going to kind of beep when things are pop up on your screen. You can turn that off if you don't want it beeping at you. Contrast of the screen, you can make that lighter or darker. Language English, again, you can change it to 9 other languages. And then which version of the software is in here. This is more for the technicians, just to make sure that you have the most current version at any given time. So all that's in your set menu. Go ahead and touch tools to get out of it. The main thing you're probably going to be using it for is right back at the top, and that's for tension. So if you ever need to adjust tension for different threads or something to look a little bit better, that's right at the top. And again, arrows right or left makes the tension higher or lower. All right, enjoy your set menu, try those out, and if you ever need it, I love that it remembers any settings that you set in this area.